People went batshit crazy. I mean, I'm telling you, people went fucking nuts. They'd never seen anything like it.
The Mothership Connection landed George Clinton and his bands their greatest public exposure. And he backed it up with his biggest song to date.
We want the bunk. Come on. Give up some. You get up off your ass now. It's that time now. Gotta have some funk. We want the bunk.
With Give Up the Funk, George Clinton, Parliament, and Funkadelic left the underground behind.
As soon as we put the record out, Star Wars came out. I think what got me going into the sci-fi really was Star Trek. I was a tracker, for real. Matter of fact, when Close Encounters came out, Julia Phillips, the producer of it, wanted me to do the soundtrack. That did not end up going so well.
He was, at this point, the dark prince of weirdness of this whole enterprise.
Ben Greenman is a former New York Times reporter who helped George write the book, Brothers Be Yo Like George, Ain't That Funkin' Kinda Hard on You.
It wasn't really satanic, but it was frightening in a way. He'd wear weird clothes, collars, capes, this kind of thing, and he would do scary faces. And part of it is his shyness. He wanted to project the character.
Everybody was scared of George. I mean, you know, especially the chicks. So much so that we would call him the Prez. And what the Prez mean was it meant that you don't get no mouth.
We call it mouth with the F instead of the TH. And mouth was very important being on the road because it was about getting that mouth. Okay?
They started calling George Prez because he was the president of the club that couldn't get laid.
George had that whole scary thing, man, that worked on stage so great. But, you know, he wasn't getting no mouth. The Prez pretty proud of that at the time, okay? But it began to be such a thing that he was like, okay, something is wrong with this picture. So he figured if I start smiling like Bootsy doing, I'll get some mouth. And sure enough, he started smiling. Every magazine you pick up, he had this big smile. I was like, that's Mo.
The women in the band were all fine and foxy and sexy, and we called them in-house mouth. And they weren't pushovers either. I mean, they had their own share of groupies too, you know.
I came from a background of rules. My uncle was a minister. I was a good girl. I looked very conservative, you know. And they looked like aliens. One Nation, scars, funny boots. I looked around and I said to myself, you know you're going to have sex with one of these people.
Satori Shakur was one of dozens of artists who joined George Clinton on the road as his bands began to multiply.
It was Parliament, Funkadelic, The Brides of Funkenstein, Parlette, Bootsy,
Bernie Worrell, Eddie Hazel, Horny Horns. He's producing this myriad of acts which became known as P-Funk Nation. So George had this empire similar to Motown going and growing at an alarming rate.
When we went on tour in Europe, obviously it was arranged that we visit the House of Parliament while we were in London, England. And everybody was invited. It was just a stately place. It looked like a big museum, like with the big paintings. And here we are, a bunch of Funkadelics. And so we were instructed of how, you know, the kind of decorum we were supposed to have.
So I'm in the bathroom, you know, I'm getting high. I'm in the start snorting, taking the 1 and 1, you know, up to no good. Thinking ain't nobody but here. So when I come out, there was a guy there. He had his white wig under his arm. He's washing his hand. He looked at me in the mirror and he said, "Oh, don't pat yourself on the shoulder. You're not the first."
Between the live shows and then going in the studio, he was working nonstop. And he'd have cassettes in this big bag that he would carry around with him. And none of the cassettes were marked. He wouldn't write anything on any of them. And when I was with him one time, we're driving around, and he said, "Oh man, I gotta play something. You're not gonna believe this." And he starts rummaging through this bag full of cassettes. Here it is. He puts it on my cassette player in my car. That was the first time I heard Flashlight.